Hey everyone, I'm Holly and welcome to my channel. So today's video is just going to be about all of the products I've given a lot of love to in the month of July that stood out to me. Just a little side note, you probably won't see a lot of hyped up products in my favorites videos, specifically because I want to put a spotlight on things that don't get a lot of hype on YouTube or Instagram or the beauty community in general, because as a project panner, the thing that I want to do the most is give a lot of love to things I already own, or, try things that aren't super hyped up, because I admit that over the years, makeup has stopped exciting me in the sense that when new things come out, I just don't run to the store to get them. I'm kind of digging through things that no one is talking about, trying to find some gems, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to start by showing you the products as I would apply them to my face, the first being foundation. I don't really have a primer or a concealer, so I'm just going to show you my foundation. These two are the only foundations that I have in my entire collection. They are the MAC Face and Body foundations. I have C1 and N1, and I have to mix them together to get my perfect shade, but I don't mind that considering it's the only foundation I have. Now the reason this is a favorite of mine, even though they are the only foundations I have, is because during the month of July, it's been really hot, and unfortunately, our air conditioning is broken, so I have needed something that won't melt off my face, and the great thing about MAC Face and Body is that it is waterproof. Even the times that I have cried wearing it, I don't get those like weird streaky lines like I do with other foundations, which is why I would consider this a holy grail foundation, if you will. Like, I can see this being in my collection for years and years and years, even if I am trying other things at the moment. Next, I'm going to show you bronzer, blush, and highlight, because I do tend to do my face makeup before I do my eye makeup. I used to do it the other way around, but I found it just really saves time when I do my face first. And I just make sure to tap off my brush really well so that I don't get fallout everywhere. It just saves me time in the mornings. So I'm going to start with my absolute favorite of all of these things, and that is the bronzer. So I am just diehard in love with the Becca bronzers, the Luminous bronzers I think they're called. I have mine in the color Bronzed Bondi, and there's not really much to say about this bronzer except that it gives a very natural glow to the skin, and that's why I really enjoy it. All of my bronzers tend to have a little bit of shimmer or glitter in them. They don't really translate on the face, and this one doesn't either. But this one to me looks the most glowy out of all of the bronzers that I own. And it blends itself. That is the number one thing about it that I love, is that it does all the work for you. Okay, so next I'm going to show you the 3 blushes that really stood out to me in the month of July. And 2 out of the 3 are old favorites, and then I have a new one. So the first one is the old favorite Urban Decay Video, and the reason that I love this so much is because it can act as a blush or a bronzer. So if you're in a really big hurry, you can use it as both, and it adds dimension on the face no matter where you put it, if that makes any sense. I only have one other blush from Urban Decay, and I've owned 2 more in the past, but the kind of more neutral tones of these blushes are my favorite because I feel like they melt into the skin so well. If you have these and you haven't used them in a while, I highly recommend pulling them out and just remembering your love for them. And if you haven't tried one, again, I do recommend either Video or Fetish. Those are the 2 that I own, but Video has definitely been my favorite for the past month. So for my other kind of OG favorite blush, I can't forget Nars Orgasm. And the reason this one stood out to me the most in the month of July, out of, like the 5 or 6 that I did use, is because during the summer this is one of my favorite blushes to wear because it looks so glowy on the skin. And kind of along the same realm as Nars Orgasm, my new favorite that I got in the month of July, maybe the end of June, yeah, I think I got it at the end of June, but used it all throughout July, is Flower Child from Becca Cosmetics. And I'm going to show you that Nars Orgasm and Flower Child look almost identical in the pan, but Flower Child pulls a lot more warm on the face. So to me, it's worth having both just because it gives me a different look, and also the shimmer in Nars Orgasm definitely pulls a lot more than the shimmer in Flower Child does. Last for the face, I'm going to show you highlighters, and the two highlighters I have, one is new and one is kind of old in my collection, but I love it to death. So the new one is this one from Tarte Cosmetics. If you haven't seen my Sephora / Ulta haul, I will link it in the description box below, but this product was in it. It was on sale at Ulta for $24, and I got it instead of Becca Pearl because I really wanted a white highlighter, and this definitely did exactly what I wanted. It's very stark and very in your face, and I figured if I were going to get a white highlighter, that's what I wanted out of it. And this was a lot cheaper. It was, what, $14 cheaper than the Becca Cosmetics one? And this one smells like vanilla, so I really couldn't pass it up. And it's really pretty, like multicolored. Now for Old Faithful. I got this in a set a long time ago, and funny enough, this and the blush are the only two products that I kept out of this set. It is a Laura Geller baked highlighter, and it's the deluxe size, but this thing has lasted me forever and a day. It is in the shade Golden Rose, which I don't think they sell separately in a large size, which kind of makes me sad because I would totally buy the full size of it. But also mine falls out of its packaging. But as you can see, this thing has been very, very well loved. There's a huge dip in it. But the reason that I love this one so much is because I can use it as a face highlight or an under eye setting powder, and it doesn't give me too much shine. It kind of acts similarly to the ambient lighting powders, which I do want to try, but I want to get through this first. Just in general, if you haven't tried a Laura Geller highlighter, I highly recommend the baked ones because they look so natural on the skin. Alright, so next I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. I have a few eyeshadows and one eyeliner to show you guys. So for the eyeliner, I've been really loving nude eyeliners. Lately, I've been kind of tired and stressed out, so my eyes have looked really dark and heavy. So I've really enjoyed using nude eyeliners in the waterline just to look more alive. My favorite one is the Cargo Swimmables nude eyeliner. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce the name of this eyeliner, but just know it's the only nude in the Swimmables line of eyeliners that Cargo makes. And I like it because it stays on the waterline pretty much all day. I only have to touch it up a couple times, and of all the nude eyeliners I've ever tried, this is the one that stays the longest. So if you've never tried any of their eyeliners, I do recommend them, especially when they're on sale for half off, like on Hot Look or something like that. For my eyebrows lately, I haven't really been enjoying wearing pencil or using my Dip Brow pomade because I've really felt like they look heavy for the summer, and also they feel really heavy on my eyebrows. I know that sounds weird, but like whenever I can feel stuff in my eyebrows, it just doesn't work for me, and because it's been so hot, I have really not liked that feeling. So I went back to a powder, and that powder was MAC's Copperplate, which I know seems like a weird color to use on my eyebrows, but it's what I have in my eyebrows today, and I think that it works really, really well because it is a very cool toned brown. It looks very gray, but the more you blend it out, the more brown it starts to lean, and therefore I think it works well for kind of dirty blonde up to like a medium brown hair color. And funny enough, whenever I started using this for my eyebrows, I only used it 2 or 3 times before I actually hit pan on it. And the only thing I'd ever used it for before that was a crease color. And so there was a massive dip in it before, and whenever I hit pan on it, I got really, really excited. So there's kind of a bonus, like, hey, I hit pan on something. Now, as for single eyeshadows that I've actually been using on my eyes, I'll show you the rest of the MAC ones that I really enjoyed using in July. And the reason that I have a lot of MAC eyeshadows in this is because I actually pulled 15 colors from my MAC eyeshadow stash and put them in a current makeup bag, which I will link in the description box below. And these were the 4 colors that I enjoyed using the most on my eyes. The first one, no surprise, honestly, is Brown Script from MAC. It works so well with the palette that I'm trying to pan and with a lot of other shades that I use on a normal basis. My favorite look that I actually did with this was use the color that I have in my crease right now from my Pan That palette And then I put this all over my lid as like a very warm smoky eye with like a very small winged eyeliner, and even though it was so simple, it looked so beautiful. So the next eyeshadow that I have is actually kind of funny because I just threw it in my Z palette as an extra eyeshadow in case I wanted something super glittery, and that is MAC's Mythology, and I ended up using this a few times, considering I didn't think I would even use it once, if I'm being honest. And like, I've got a really big dip going in this now. I use my Too Faced glitter glue, and I put that all over my eyelid and then just kind of press this onto it, and it makes it super, super glittery. And I use my Pan-That palette for like my crease colors and stuff, and then I would deepen my outer corner with brown script. The other color I used a lot all over my eyelid and in my crease for like a one eyeshadow look. Of course I would use my Pan-That palette for like a soft crease transition color, but other than that, this was the only color that I would use all over my lid, and that's MAC's Woodwinked. This is a very classic MAC eyeshadow. I'm sure everybody owns it, but I feel like MAC eyeshadows are just not getting a lot of love anymore, which makes me super sad, and I kind of want to bring back that nostalgia. And when it comes to like inner corner and brow bone highlights, I have been really liking a shimmery eyebrow highlight again, which hasn't been a thing in about 5 or 6 years, so it's kind of weird, but I really, really have been enjoying it. I've been using Phloof, which is really frosty, and it's definitely like 90s vibes on my eyebrow bone, but I don't mind that at all. And regardless, this makes a beautiful inner corner highlight, even a face highlight too. Last, for eye products, I have 2 palettes that I want to share with you guys, and those are the Lorac Unzipped and Unzipped Gold palettes. And the reason that I have them both in my favorites is because I don't necessarily like using either one of these on their own. Every time I pull one out, I use both of them. And that's because I feel like I can get so many beautiful, complete looks whenever I have them both together. Because I've got transition colors and crease colors that I feel like one or the other is missing, and then lid colors and brow bone colors. I just feel like the cool and the warm shades blend so well together and give so much beautiful contrast that I almost wish this was like a Lorac Mega Unzipped Pro, if that makes any sense. But yeah, pull these out and give them some love if you have them. Now the last bit of stuff that I have to show you are lip products, and there are not too many, so I'm just going to kind of run through them very quickly. The first 2 I have are 2 lip masks. One is the Smith's Rosebud Salve, and the other one is the Bite Agave lip mask. And both of these I use for different things. Whenever I'm getting ready in the mornings, I use the Smith's just because it kind of sinks into the lips a lot faster. So while I'm putting on the rest of my makeup, my lips are kind of prepped for whatever I put on them. And I like the tube version of this a lot better than the jar that I know it comes in, because lip balms tend to be really sticky, and I just really don't like sticking my finger in them, if that makes any sense. And also when I carry this around in my purse, it's just a lot easier to apply throughout the day. For this, I use this at night whenever I'm getting ready for bed, because it takes a lot longer to sink into the lips, but my lips feel very hydrated when I wake up, and then I just kind of add extra hydration with this in the mornings. So in my most recent, and actually my only haul video that I have up, I got this as a 100-point perk, and this is a Nars Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in the color Let's Go Crazy. It's what's on my lips right now. It's a very beautiful warm pink, and I do have it swatched on the back of my hand right here. I was actually really scared of this color at first, but then I realized that it is a very wearable shade, and I should have realized that before, because Nars just does a wonderful job with making things that seem bold and uncomfortable very, very wearable. But I didn't want to pull this one out as a favorite necessarily for the color, but just in general, these Nars Velvet pencils are very looked over in my opinion. There is like little to no hype surrounding them, and I don't personally understand why. I feel like they're very comfortable mattes on the lip. They feel like a moussey liquid lipstick kind of, except they do transfer whenever you're eating or drinking, which I'm okay with because at least it's easier to fix it than a liquid lipstick is. Not saying that I don't like liquid lipsticks, I just feel like they're very high maintenance, whereas these give you the same look, but they're not as high maintenance. And the other one that I have is Bahama, which I also have swatched right here. It's like a 90s mauve color, you know. I don't think I'll ever be over the 90s mauve lip trend. I thought it was beautiful back then. I still think it's beautiful. I think that it's very flattering. And this one particularly is one of my favorites that I have. The last thing that I want to talk about is not necessarily the products I'm going to show you, but just in general, red lips for July have been an absolute favorite. And maybe it started with the 4th of July, I don't really know, but I've just really enjoyed wearing red lipstick. And the 3 products that I have to show you are the red lip liner that I own. I only own one, and that is the color 69 from Urban Decay. I really like Urban Decay's lip liners. I did have 3 other ones that I previously decluttered,